Hello and welcome to Against the Storm. We are here today trying to play, and today I'm going to try and explain how much I just love this game. And so I'm going to try and take a different approach to recording, and hopefully that helps release more content and really explain just how addicting this game can be. So it's a lot to take in, especially when you've gone a ways into the game and unlocked some things. But over here on the left side of the screen, we get to pick between these different caravans. So these are going to be people that the smoldering city is sending out with us to start our settlement with, and we get to choose which pack we want to go with. I really like beavers, and on maps where there's fertile soil for farming, I really like humans because beavers cut down trees, and every single map you're going to be cutting down trees. Maps where you have fertile soil, which we have an average amount, which we are fine with. Uh, I like to set up an economy around farming, and humans are the best farmers in most farm buildings. There are a few farm buildings that, like, one is the beavers excel at for, and you get crystallized dew and tree resin out of that. And then there are these 2x2 fertile soil buildings that I haven't really messed around with them too much. They seem less worker efficient to me, but like you require more people to work them because you're using fertile soil as 2x2. So they might be great, but I haven't really messed around with them that much. So, and you unlock them later into the game. So I didn't really get the chance to mess around with them before. But anyway, so what we've chosen here is there's a modifier on our land. That's going to be the Forbidden Lands. Only Forbidden Glades can be found in this region. So that's going to be the hardest tier of glade that you can cut into in the game. And we are going to have only those. So we'll see how that goes. All these things across the bottom come along with your caravan as well. So we're getting beavers and humans, adding up to 9, which is better than the other two. And then we're also going to get 2 villagers on top of that. So we'll end up with 11 total. And 1 or 2 of those might even show us what our third race is. There are 4 total, but we only get 3 per run. And you only get to pick which race is at the very beginning here. These other ones will be random. And so I mean, I've seen all 4 get shown in our options, but so that doesn't mean that if I pick this beaver one, that a human is definitely going to show up, even though our other caravans have humans in them. That does not indicate that. So across the bottom here, we have food at the beginning and 1 complex food that our people can eat. We've got some parts, which are the same throughout. The wildfire essences, which are the same throughout. But on this one, we're going to get stone instead of water skins, which is fine. And wood and coal are all the same here. And then the 2 newcomers are all the same here. So really the comparison is this one has stone, this one has water skins, and then this one has more food in it. So like these are all basic foods, and there's only 2. So we're definitely going to pick this middle caravan, especially for the average amount of soil. I turned the difficulty down to prestige 1 just so that I could kind of focus on what I love about the game more. I'm a new content creator and just need to focus on explaining myself a little bit more better. So these are the seasonal effects that show up. Anything above like a low difficulty like settler, you're going to end up with a lot of negative modifiers. And yeah, as veteran, you only have 1 positive modifier. I haven't seen these modifier numbers grow yet, but potentially at a lower prestige they will, or a higher prestige, but lower on the list. So the reason I like Prestige 1 is because more reputation is required to win, which just makes the game last a little longer. And I think that's fun because I find that at the lower amounts of reputation needed, like that's nice for someone that's struggling to learn the game. But for me, I really like having a longer style game where I get to try out more options and my decisions, each decision carries a lot of weight. And I really like that when your reputation's higher, that every decision feels like it has an impact in the game, as opposed to like when you're about halfway through on a lower difficulty, you kind of know that you can push the win out real quick, but when you've got the higher reputation, it you gotta sit down and focus and kind of wonder how you're going to get those last few points in, which is typically a resolve finish for me, but it's not always available because of these different kinds of modifiers. So by choosing the Forbidden Lands, it's going to give us some extra um, artifacts and machine parts, which we don't really need a lot of at this point in the game, but they can be nice for sacrificing. And plus, it's a fun way to play. So we're going to name our settlement YouTube Gold. And then we get to pick our embarkation bonuses. So there's a few things to pay attention to when you're picking your bonuses. What you're bringing, if you have farms available or not, and then what you're also going to want to find out is what's on the ground and what comes from your trees. So because all these are hidden, and we know that Forbidden Lands is on, we do kind of want some things that we can throw at the Forbidden Glade events so that we can open up into them early. So that, to me, is parts. You can use parts to solve them, tools to solve them, and on this map, I don't see us getting a lot of tools because there's no copper, and there's no way of just producing crystallized dew off the bat. There are some cornerstones that can open that up to us, and there's some buildings, but until then, we're going to choose the parts to help us solve that event early and not destroy our whole economy, because parts is how you build your gathering posts and like your woodcutters camps and things that really help you go out and get resources, put your people to work, you know. So and then I'm also going to choose the plantation because it has two-star farming recipes, and berries are a decent source of food. Plant fiber is a steady source of fabric, and then that can be converted into things that are useful to my people and the traders and stuff. For instance, coats work for both beavers and humans, and it's a simple recipe to make out of cloth. If we have a steady source of plant fiber, we'll get a steady source of cloth and a steady source of coats, which will make our people happier, right? So then at that point, we only have one embarkation point left, since this costs 4 and this costs 3, and we only had 8 total, which is actually a lot. But at that point, I would choose either a food option. So the 42 vegetables would be the most I could get with one embarkation point on this map, because all these numbers change depending on what map you're choosing. And then I'm going to choose wood just to help me out with like fuel for my fires at the beginning, so I don't have to focus on burning everything. I can kind of craft off the bat. In the past, I've chosen the building materials, and I really like that, but I want to try with this Forbidden Glade thing to kind of focus on that challenge at hand and see how that goes. So with that, we'll hit embark, and then we'll find out what our other modifiers are. So now that we're loaded into the game, we can see the map behind this pop-up, and the pop-up tells us all the additional effects and modifiers that we have this game. So this has the Prestige modifier, the Royal Woodlands biome effect, where it tells us that we get more trees, more wood from the trees, and it tells us that only the Forbidden Glades can be found in this region. And then we come up here, and these are our positive effects, which happen during the drizzle, and our negative effects, which happen during the storm. There's a clearance period between where none of these effects are active, but that's fine. So the villagers with this effect have 20% movement speed, and that's if they have complex food. And they'll eat complex food if it's available when they take a break at the hearth. You always get looming darkness. This is always a negative effect that's in the game. Every storm, you will lose 4 global resolve across all of your species for each of your hostility levels. Hostility is an effect that the forest has. The more impatient the queen is, the lower your hostility. The more glades you cut into and the more people you have, the higher your hostility. Those are the real basic modifiers. Woodcutters are also involved in that, but typically you just pull out the woodcutters during the storm to lower your hostility level. The next one is villagers with this effect have soaked clothes and get a -5 penalty to their resolve, and that's if they don't have housing, which you can see at the bottom there. The darkness of the dark skies above the settlement awaken a primal fear in all villagers. During the storm, all species resolve drops 100% faster. So that just means people will leave faster. The resolve is this bar on the side here. I don't know if you can see it. And if it goes into the negative, then species will start to leave. And so if it drops faster, then they will get to the point where they start leaving faster. Leakage. The cover of the ancient hearth has been damaged due to the exceptionally strong storm. The hearth's resistance is decreased by 200, and that's a blight rot effect. The hearth's resistance is its resistance to the blight rot corruption. Sacred flame rituals. Only the sacred flame can protect the settlements from the darkness surrounding it. Pay 3 wood for every villager. If you don't, they will leave. So then this is going to be kind of like steering how we play this game. And then we pop in and it shows us where our storage is and our hearth. Our hearth is important because that's where everyone takes their break. People need to take a break during their work days, so this kind of has to be central to your production and your gathering and all that stuff, because if you have things going on way out here and people have to take a break, they have to walk all the way over here to take a break. So as you expand out and you build production facilities out in the forest, you're going to want to put up more of these hearths, which up here we have 3 hearthfire essences to build those with or to trade away. In your hearth, you can choose who is your firekeeper. We ended up getting lizards as both of our 2 people. So that's kind of cool to get your 3rd race, so you kind of know what buildings will be helpful. And I like to turn off the 3 types of advanced fuels and just burn wood in the beginning, just in case you come across an event with coal. And then when you pick up sea marrow, I'll typically turn it on, but sometimes you want to hold on to it just to trade away or whatever, especially with extra wood on our trees. But I throw the lizard in because he gives everyone +1 global resolve, which is great. I also like throwing in the human. It slows down the queen's impatience rising, so she grows impatient slower with the humans. The beavers have fuel that burns 20% longer, or it burns 20% slower, which is similar. And down here it'll show you what upgrading the hub looks like. So if you house 8 people within this yellow ring and you put 4 green decorations up, then you'll go up a hub level, and there's 3 levels to go through. It looks like in our starting area we've got fertile soil, which is great because we've got a farm. We're going to have some mushrooms and plant fiber to harvest. I also like to look around here and we can check out are buildings that are available, and these are the random number generators that will allow us to move forward and pick blueprints that our people can use. So up here is important. It'll show you all the things that you have inside of this settlement. So sometimes when you're picking gathering buildings, it's nice to see what your trees are giving you, what things you might find on the ground, and then you have a better idea of whether or not something's going to fit into your economy. Now, because we don't have a way to get copper to produce the tools that I think we're going to need, I am really thinking about picking this forester's hut. Typically, since we brought in a farm, I wouldn't want to pick another farm building first. But because I know that we're going to want tools with all these forbidden glades, I'm going to go ahead and just pick this. Now, with these foragers camps, now this is one of those 2x2 farm buildings I was talking about earlier. But with these foragers camps and stuff, you want to check what things are available on the ground. So we have access to grain and roots and vegetables with the foragers camp, but we only have vegetables and roots on the ground here. Now that's 2 out of the 3, and that's good, and we might end up picking that. But it's nice to know that 2 out of the 3 are on the ground instead of just like 1 or 0 of them. The greenhouse is another way to use fertile soil, but because we don't have a bunch of fertile soil and we already have 2 farms, we will not be picking this. It's cool because it turns spark dew into resources. 3 people can work a 2x2 space, but that just doesn't seem... it seems like it takes a lot of people to keep that running. You need a large economy to start using those. In my mind, but I haven't used them yet. Bricks and pie are nice, and the lizards would like working here. It's got that it's got the warmth specialization bonus, and the lizards like warmth. Now, out of these 3, I would probably pick the foragers camp, but we don't actually have to pick yet. We can save these decisions for a later date, and we can wait for orders to show up, and we can wait for glades to open up, and we can wait for our new villagers, perhaps, or at least our cornerstone. And those will happen at various times as we move forward. So to start, I'm going to go ahead and build out a path system. So we've placed out the paths in a hex pattern, leaving this nice little 4x4 space in the middle. I've put down some farm fields on our fertile soil and placed down our woodcutters camps at priority 1, which just puts them 1 above the paths and the harvesters camp. Actually, we will pop them up to 2, harvesters camp to 1, and then they'll build the paths out afterwards. So this is kind of how we'll start our game. We'll get started on clearing some woods out, and we'll get a farm up so that we can start producing the crystallized dew for tools. And then in my woodcutters camps, I really like to put it on only marked trees. When I put it on only marked trees, it means that it'll give me a notification that they've stopped working when they finished a task that I've marked out for them. So you can mark your trees, and then your woodcutters will only cut that. And let's say they finish cutting this and I'm off focusing on something else. It'll give me a notification on the side here that says your woodcutters camp needs things to do. So at this point, we'll just kind of hit play and watch it play through. They'll start building all the stuff. And then when we have decisions to make, we pause and we make those decisions. Beavers are extra productive because of the wood bonus. And that noise indicated that our hostility level went up from adding woodcutters. And then we're going to go ahead and fill a human in there. We also have this camp over here, which can collect us up some plant fiber, and we'll go ahead and fill that in as well. This only leaves the remaining 2 population as our builders, but that's fine. And we got a cornerstone. So the cornerstones are big game modifiers, especially your first one, because you don't have as many things going on. Your first one is kind of important. You can pick it for a late game and kind of suffer through the beginning, or you can find something that's really going to help you in the beginning of the game. I start with 3 rerolls because of perks I've picked between games, but we will just read through these and see what we can do. It will also tell you your resources up here in the corner, so it can be important when you're picking your cornerstone. Some fossils contain valuable surprises. Gain 2 amber for every 20 seed marrow produced. And because seed marrow is on the ground, we might actually be producing that. Plus 2 leather production. Gain additional leather every yield. And so if you can like pick that up off the ground or off of eggs or something, then that's a really efficient way of increasing your leather production. Leather can be used in fabric and water skins, and you can sell it to traders. It's fairly useful. Ancient mushroom farming techniques are described within. Mushroom production increased by 1 every 25 times it's produced. Now, these are really, really cool perks. They have one of these for meat as well, and that's just a stacking bonus. So it's not going to help you in the beginning, but eventually those mushrooms will be producing so many per stack that it'll get out of hand. You'll have so much food. Resources you sacrifice in the ancient hearth burn 5% longer for every impatience point you have. Now, none of these are really game breaking to me, but I think we're going to pick the fungal guide. Even though we do have 3 rerolls, this is a good perk, so we will go ahead and pick it. I also liked the golden marrow. Amber is your trade resource, and it's just free for every 20 you produce. But I like the idea that our mushrooms might explode. And then we'll just keep going. New orders. And so these are the things that the queen gives you to do, and it'll lower her impatience and give you a victory point whenever you complete them. So up here are your objectives, and down here are the rewards that they give you. So completing 2 events, which they are going to be Forbidden Glade events, so they're the harder of the 2, and they're insured. But for doing that, we get +1 to copper ore production, which we will not be producing. We'll get 1 hearthfire essence, or wildfire essence for building hearths, and 25 coal. Now this is not that attractive to me on this map because we aren't getting copper ore. So selling goods worth at least 15 amber to a trader or on trade routes will give us amber, oil, and villagers. We're going to go ahead and pick that. The botanist. We have to build a plantation and get 15 of each of the things that it does, and it'll give us more berry production, which sounds great to me. 30 vegetables, 2 villagers, also fine. For building 2 of our camps that actually never upgrade, which means that we get them at full value from the beginning, and 10 bricks will get us some more supplies. I think we're going to go for the ramping berry production. Well, I guess it's not ramping, but for the better berry production on the farm that we brought with us. Cut into 3 glades and rebuild or salvage a destroyed building will give us better production on our brick materials and some tools. Or human resolve above 25 for 30 seconds. We're not going to get that for a while, but that's not too bad. Especially since it comes with some parts. Cutting into 3 glades. Cutting into 3 glades is going to take a long time on Forbidden Glade mode, but I still think that it's probably worth it because of just I like extra stone and clay production. I kind of regret that choice, but we'll just move forward. I love the perks. So you'll notice that our people have to come and sit by the fire, and they have to walk to it, and then as this fills up, when it gets full, they'll start carrying things back to a storage. This is important to know, because as you start designing your society, you're going to want those things to be optimized. Now we have some farmland, and it's still the drizzle, but it's almost over. So we're probably not going to get anything planted this season. But we're going to go ahead and build the forester's hut because I want to start crystallized dew. We can also move over to the plantation later, but before all that, we have to start building our other production facilities. So we'll get a rain mill down, or a rain collector down. We'll get our makeshift post down. We'll get a crude workstation down. Actually, we'll place them like that. Then we're going to go ahead and build a house. And our lizards are already happy, which means that they're producing reputation. Not a lot, but some reputation. So now that we have some production buildings going, I think we can cut out on that for now, and we'll collect more later. And for now, we want to kind of get some of our building materials together. So we'll throw people in here. And we'll set our plank limit to 10 with a priority of 1, since our buildings are going to require that, especially our farm buildings. And we'll turn on bricks and fabric. And here with wood and planks you can only use wood, but with these other ones you can use multiple different inputs, and so you can turn them on and off by clicking them. So I could turn off clay and they would only use stone, but since we're getting clay off of plant fiber and I don't think we're actually producing stone, we'll go ahead and leave them both on. And we'll go ahead and set these to 10 as well. That means that when they reach 10, they will stop producing. With these packs of goods, we will not be building these anytime soon. But I wanted to go ahead and get the building out of the way. The rain collector we will be using to produce spark dew. That's one of the potential ingredients we could use in a forbidden glade. Then I also want to cut out this area for more housing. If you hold down control, you will not cut into a glade when you're marking trees. So this is the clearance season. It's between the drizzle and the storm. It's where your farmers will harvest crops. During the drizzles when they plant, and during the storm is where they plow. So we got the rain mill up, and we'll go ahead and throw a couple people in there, which gets rid of our builders, but that's fine. They've already built everything for now. I'm going to go ahead and move this out of the way for now, Just kind of get more room for our housing going. At least until I can throw a guy in there, and then I can move this guy over here. Unmark these trees. So that they focus. Now, we have our negative effects kicking in based on our hostility levels. So this 2 indicates it doesn't kick in until hostility 2. We're only at hostility 1, so we're good to go. We do need to have some housing, though, or our people are going to get really sad. So because of that, we're going to take out some tree cutters. So we don't have to deal with that hostility level. I'll leave some in over here to kind of clear this out. I'll leave this person in here to clear this out. But we are going to have to build a few more houses. We have 5 unhoused people right now. Each one of these shelters holds 3. And we cut out the perfect number of trees to get that going. And we'll just let our people work. During this next storm, during this next drizzle, I'd like to cut into one of these glades, and it's probably going to be this one up here. And that's it. We made it through our first storm. At this point, we get to pick another cornerstone. And here are the options. You took some of the best explorers from the smoldering city with you. Get a constant -5 penalty to global resolve, but +15 global resolve for 5 minutes every time a new glade is discovered. I do not want to do this. Even though it sounds really good, because +15 is huge, I only have forbidden glades, so I really don't want to be taking that -5 penalty most of the time, even though the +15 would give us a lot of bonus reputation through the resolve. Woodcutters are tasked with creating makeshift tools. Discovering a glade grants 5 simple tools at a cost of -5 to woodcutters resolve. I really don't want to do that either. They're all forbidden glades. 5 tools won't be enough to justify a -5 resolve across each of my woodcutters. Strange roots spread across the land. Wood production is increased by 1, but harvesting and planting are 25% slower. Because we have 2 farm buildings, I am not going to pick that. We already have extra wood from our trees, so we'll be fine. All camp production is increased by 100%, but all buildings that use fertile soil have their yields decreased by 50%. Bonus does not affect woodcutters camp. We do not want to pick that. So we're going to re-roll. The people are feeling oddly rebellious. Gain +1 resolve for every 2 impatient points. I don't really care for that much. An old forbidden ritual increases yields by 100% in all buildings that use fertile soil. You will lose all stored food. I cannot afford to do that. 100% yield is great, but we don't have access to food right now. Gain 1 part every time you sell 25 worth of amber. That sounds great. Economic migration. Rumor has it that your settlement is one of the wealthiest in the realm. Newcomers will arrive 15% quicker for every 2 levels of standing you have with other settlements in trade routes. The bonus is added retroactively. That's kind of cool too. But I think we're just going to pick the 1 part for every 25 amber sold. Sounds great. Alright, and we have cut where I want for our farm building. We've cut out some more room for some people. And we are going to want to cut straight into this glade now. Go ahead and get rid of that. and that. And we'll get going. We should probably build that farm, though. I like the forester's hut. I like the forester's hut the most for the crystallized dew. And let's see what's in our first glade before we pick our other two starting buildings. This is the drizzle season, so I do want to plug in my beavers here. But I also need woodcutters. So these people are done. They can come cut wood. I do need the spark dew in case the event requires it. We are at 26, so I could probably get rid of this guy after he's done carrying stuff. Oh, he's taking a break. Okay. Oh, and we have new people. So on this list, we're going to go ahead and just pick the diversity of people. And keep moving forward. These people are planting. I actually want to turn off the resin. Let's go ahead and just plant crystallized dew. And as they move further and further, I'm going to move the wood camps up. And we have a new order. Just like that. So, if we build 6 lizard houses, we'll get 5 lizards, 30 jerky, and 5 coal per minute. That sounds great. What's the catch? Can we not build lizard houses right now? We could build 4. I think we can do this. We're going to need more clay, which was coming off of this. So we throw people in here. To get us more clay. We throw a person in here to get us bricks. With priority 1 now. And then I could throw more woodcutters in to get us into this glade. And yeah, we're gonna take that timed order. 5 coal per minute sounds great. Just to make sure we're not missing anything else. 8 packs of crops for 3 humans. 3 human resolve and 2 parts. Yeah, we're definitely picking this timed order. 5.5 minutes is tight, but we will do it. Now, I should not have picked this in case it gave me another timed order that I needed to focus on, but we did, so it doesn't matter. And I'm not really taken by either of these. But with our timed order, we are going to focus on that. So let's go ahead and start building our lizard houses. Two. So we've now placed all 5 lizard houses. We're cutting into this forbidden glade and we're trying to harvest up all the clay we can to make these bricks out of. We've got 3 clay. And we've reached it. Now, luckily, we just barely got the spark due for that. The corrupting power of the rain is seeping through your rain punk machinery. Every 90 seconds, a piece of living matter is spawned around the rain punk foundry. Okay. So we can get the rain punk foundry, which makes super good tools and parts. That sounds great. But the salvage looks huge too. Parts can be produced in the crude workstation, so we wouldn't even need this because it's the same recipe. And you can get 3 oil for every 10 flour produced, which could also be great, but we didn't pick the farm for that. 40 jerky, 25 amber also sounds great, but those infused tools sound amazing to me, especially since we're already producing the crystallized dew and the spark dew, and then just throw on a plank. Yeah, we're gonna salvage that, or we're gonna rebuild this. And every 90 seconds we're working this, it'll pop out living matter that we're gonna have to deal with, which is gonna eat our food. So we are gonna need some more workers for this. We don't need any more spark dew. We do need those bricks. We don't need as many woodcutters. I need to start cutting out some more. I'm hitting control so we don't accidentally cut into this other glade. So we're going to throw more people in here and investigate. Then we're going to throw 2 beavers back in here, make it 4, and get this going. We shouldn't need 4 for all of that, but with 51 seconds remaining, maybe we will. Okay, we're making bricks. Living matter appeared. Ooh, which has some really nice perks. Oh, but it takes 2 people to work it? Then we throw our 2 people in here to work it. It's eating our food, but it's better than letting it grow. I just really hope we can get these bricks done. We've only got 1 minute and 40 seconds to get 3 more houses built. Ooh. And another living matter popped up. get started on that. But then there's going to be no one building. $50. I don't think we're going to make it. We just don't have enough bricks. Deliver. Deliver. 6 seconds left. We've got the bricks for it, but they're not going to finish it. And we failed the timed order. That feels bad. 5 coal per minute and 5 new lizards would have been great. Now we've got all these lizard houses that we don't even need. That's okay. At least we're going to get this event done. We're going to get our living matter taken care of. I probably could have force delivered that and made it happen faster, but I'm also trying to play on 3 times speed to make this a little easier for the content. Now, we have no food, which is a really big issue, right? But we did finish our Rainpunk Foundry, which is just going to be a great production facility. We'll use planks and spark dew to make our infused tools. And a beaver will be good in here, and a lizard will be good in here. But let's recover, because we were really focused on our lizard houses for a while there, and they're really not going to do us any good. So we're going to go ahead and take them down. And salvage our materials back. Now, I do want to increase my plank limit up. Get someone back in here. And I guess we kind of have to wait for our living matter to clear up. But we're going to want food now. And that's kind of an issue, because that means we're going to have to cut into a new glade. Or we've got this trapper's camp that we can throw down. The weaver is really nice for a great clother for a great coats recipe. 1 fabric for 10 coats is amazing. Scrolls and water skins are decent. But with those infused tools, we can start opening up these caches, which have great rewards. I do happen to see here that we've got 3 ancient tablets, which we can pick for our order. Because we will get 9 tools in no time. I am concerned about the food situation, but we'll get around to it. Normally by now I'd like to build a trader or a trading post. So we'll go ahead and throw that down as well. And we'll just let the game run. And we just let it run. Let them clear out that living matter. They're carrying that stuff back. We'll wait to put people in these buildings because while they're gathering, we're still not going to have food. New cornerstone. Oh. One lizard for every 25 eggs produced. Sounds like a way to up our economy. Especially with our trappers camp right here about to collect a bunch of eggs. So we're just going to kind of cut down some trees, wait for these living matters to get resolved. New people is good. Oh, we'll take the 4 people. As we add more people, our hostility will go up. Villagers 18 is giving us a whole level of hostility. And we have a trader. So the camp is looking pretty tasty across the bottom here because that just gives us another blueprint. Now we do have a lot of things to trade to this guy. Or this lady, Sahilda, and we'll see kind of what we can get. Now, I'm not too scared of selling some parts, especially since we can make them. And I'm not scared of selling resin, since we can make that. So let me get rid of a part. And maybe we can get rid of one more part. Yep. Throw in some wood. Perfect. So we're going to go with 20 amber for some parts and stuff that we can make. With a very even trade. And then we'll go ahead and grab the herbalist camp. One thing you can do is attack the trader and you'll get some of their stuff. But then traders don't show up very often. You get other negative modifiers. So now that we have sold 15 value worth of good, they'll give us another 10. And then we could buy another perk if we want. And I think we'll go with the mushroom production. Okay, now that that's solved, we'll throw some people into our trapper's camp to collect food. We've got people gathering the mushrooms. I don't need this trader anymore. It'd be nice to get a couple more beavers working on our crystallized dew. And we'll put 3 more beavers in here. I think that we should put some lizards in making these tools. And hope, hope, hope. And there's no reason not to have a human in here working on some crystallized dew. Or not crystallized, but some spark dew. So now that we are in the drizzle season, we have some new orders to pick from. We can go for another 3 ancient tablets for some complex food, or we can go for the beaver resolve, and I will pick the beaver resolve. 3 forbidden events will get us a new building and some vegetable production, but just building some farms and packs of crops will get us new people and parts and stuff. I actually think that this one's going to be easier with the farms. We do have our herbalist camp now, which it automatically upgraded the one we already had. And then we still haven't picked all of our things. So I say we pick the foragers camp just to finish off our camps. A clay pit is another one of those 2x2 farms. A press is a good oil recipe, but we're not really set up for that yet. Coal is nice with a little bit of better bricks and jerky. And then the granary is actually what we're going to definitely go with. Better packs of crops for our new quest. Pickled goods is a simple complex food we can make if we get a container. And then 2-star fabric recipe sounds perfect to me. It shows us 2 of the same. But the forum would allow us to fulfill ale and education to our people. The chance for bonus production yields is increased by 15%. Same building effects do not stack. So building 2 of these and staffing them won't double this effect. But plus 15% bonus yield sounds great on a service building we can use. Even if we can't make that stuff, which I know that we can't right now, we can buy that stuff from traders and fulfill our people's needs with it, and it gives us something to aim at. So we'll go ahead and place that down when we get the chance, probably right around here. But let's get the granary up and running first. And for that, I will move this building off to the side. Then we can place our granary. We haven't placed a forager's camp yet, but we also don't have a use for it yet, so we will hold off on that. And actually with that, I think we've reached our time limit. And, you know, we've kind of gotten a nice start for this. We'll go ahead and place down our forum building, even though it'll be a long time before we can actually get 16 bricks together. We are working on these tools, which will allow us to complete our quest with those tablets. And then we'll have even more tools that we can use to get reputation and money or some extra parts and stuff. The ale we'd be able to serve, the stone would turn into the bricks. The wildfire essences we could sell or turn into more hubs. And sacks of flour, you know, not that useful to us right now, but We do have a field kitchen that I could use it in for biscuits, so it's not completely worthless. I do like that we're working on crystallized dew, and planting is 30% faster because we built this foundry. They are now starting to build our infused tools, which will be great. Anyway, that's it for now. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate any likes and subscribes and just viewing hours y'all can give me. It really helps support me and the channel while I'm working it all out. And I will see y'all on the next one. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you can start to see why I love this game so much. We're going to start opening up more forbidden glades and challenging ourselves and failing missions, but hopefully we can still pull one through.